Welcome to Northwynd 2, episode 29. In this episode, I'm going to be doing Legendary Madness of Crowds, and I am level 29. It's been a few weeks since I made the last episode, and I haven't really been playing Northwynd a bunch, but where I have been spending my time is primarily with gear farming, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this quest. Just like in Heroics, there are several pieces of gear that I wanted to farm out of here, well, a few pieces, for my legendary endgame gear set, including the armor, the shield, and the sickle. I've also been farming out into the mist because I wanted to get the legendary silver thread cloak, and I decided that I was going to farm out the thrumming spark cord out of Wrath of the Earth, and because I wanted to do a video of that, which I think is going to be next episode, I wanted to go ahead and get flagged for Chain 3. I didn't do it during Heroics. I really don't know Ravenloft quests that well, especially like Chain 2, Invitation to Dinner, Amber Temple. Don't know them that well, so I just did most of them on Heroic Elite. I was able to join a pug for a couple of them to do them on Legendary, but most of them I just did on Heroic Elite just to get flagged for Chain 3 because I didn't feel like that I could solo those, on Legendary Elite or R1. I also did R1 Desecrated Temple of Vol. And, the only level 29 quests we have are epic orchard quests. And that was the only one that I felt like I probably could have soloed. And actually, I've never made a video of me soloing that. I tried to do it a few years back on Gingerspyce, and I kept failing at the first Quell fight because I kept getting insta-killed. The Quell, I guess, kept dispelling me, and it kept dispelling my shield when I did it on Northwynd earlier. But I just recast it and was able to get through that fight and made it through the whole quest actually pretty well. Soloed that on R1, and I was pretty pleased with the performance. I had to be smart about the mana usage, but even with out Detour. I don't have Detour, so I couldn't save that first shrine. And even losing that first shrine, I was able to get through and, finish the whole thing with, over 1,000 mana. So it wasn't as tight. It wasn't that tight on the mana usage. So I was pretty pleased with that. But I probably could not solo any of the others on R1. So let's see. Reaper points. It was really awesome to join that R6 pug group doing the Amrath quest that I did in episode 27. Did some other quests with them after that too, the Mines of Tethiamar, and got a couple more Reaper points out of that. So I'm up to 12 now, and this is how they're spent. Really focusing on the defensive side, and when I get to 30, if I was going to reincarnate, if this was a tune that I was going to keep playing, next go around, I'd start spending a little more in Dire Thaumaturge. When I got access to my Reaper points at level 4, I'd probably pick up, the point of the DC, and the point of wisdom, and then spend the rest in Grim Barricade. But because this was my first life with, with Reaper points, I just, and I'm only a second lifer, I just went all defense because I felt that's where I'd be best served. But definitely, the more Reaper points I get, the more I'm going to start investing in Dire Thaumaturge because I'm going to want those DCs, I'm going to want those points of wisdom. I also want to make sure that I show the stats before I forget to do that. So that's where I'm at right now. Let's take a look at the gear. I didn't go over gear last episode. So let's see. I'm probably going to do a new Shard of Power next level, but for now it's still got Insightful, Magical Sheltering 14, Healing Amplification 46, and Evocation Focus 5. The Epic Torque hasn't changed and will stay the same through endgame. I did get this last level, the Legendary Pansophic Circlet. This comes out of Memoirs of an Illusory Larcener in the Harbor. This is a great general potency item. It has potency 131, insightful potency 65, and quality potency 15, and magical efficiency 10%. Very nice. Slotted up with a Sapphire of False Life 30. Especially nice for like a caster druid that uses so many different spell powers. We have all the elements plus some others, so this just does a really nice job of covering all the bases. Not getting a whole lot off of the goggles at this point. Really, all this stuff is covered elsewhere except for the Sapphire of Crushing Waveguard. So I think I'm going to do, I think I figured out something I can do with the goggles slot for next level, but we'll see what happens. So this Legendary Scales of the Exile comes out of the quest that I'll be doing this episode. And so I've been wearing the heroic version. The legendary version is level 29. I also added the alchemical armor defenses on there, as you can see right at the top, just like I had on the heroics. It gives me another 1 point to my AC. So it has big fortification, big parrying, which is an insight bonus to AC and saves, and insightful wisdom 9, insightful constitution 9, so huge bonuses there. Just a really wonderful, wonderful piece of armor for the caster druid. Remember, we do get heavy armor proficiency through tier 3 and 8 in the bear tree, and so you don't have to spend an extra feat on heavy armor proficiency anymore like we had to prior to update 38. This has a nice set bonus that goes along with the shield. When the two pieces are equipped, you can see at their bottom it says +5 artifact bonus to natural armor and +2 artifact bonus to constitution. Great for my build, where I try to focus on defenses. The Epic Braces of the Wind aren't really doing a whole lot for me. Also wanted to show that I did have that slotted up with the Globe of True Imperial Blood. That gives me a +1 exceptional bonus to all my stats. So I don't really benefit much from the Epic Braces of Wind anymore. I get a little bit of dodge out of that. I could I could take this off, put something else in its place, and compensate for the loss of dodge through my Reaper tree. I'm also getting Air Guard out of it, but that's really about it. The Lightning Lower is 3 more than I have on the Ring, on the Legendary Spinneret. The Magnetism, that 122, that's, I already have 131 potency here. That's an equipment bonus, you can see. And the 122 here is also an equipment bonus, so I have higher spell power to all my, all the different spell powers from the Pansophic Circlet. So the Magnetism 122 isn't really doing anything. So. But I'm just going to keep it for now. I don't really have anything better to put there on this tune. So here I have, this is, I think I had this the last time I went over my gear, but it's something I recrafted somewhat recently. Constitution 12, Sheltering 30, Insightful Physical Sheltering 14, and I've got it slotted up with Topaz of Power 250. That is a level 28 augment. Treads of the Falling Shadow have not changed. Convenient place to get striding and ghostly from. Blurfinger Gloves. I still have the heroic version. The legendary version, not much difference. It had efficient magic maximized too, higher mystic diversion. I just kept this one because I had the mythic hands boost on it. So, and then I fed the legendary one to my sentient weapon, which I'll show you in a minute. So Legendary Spinneret, this comes out of the first Slave Lord's quest from the end chest, and this is a nice universal spell lore item. 15% to all, crit chance to all spells. Also has higher quality potency 32 on the Ring versus the quality potency 15 here on the Legendary Pansophic Circlet. But really, this one is about the quality spell focus mastery. So it's a +2 quality bonus to the DC of all my spells. Really nice. Spell penetration 7, not doing anything for me. I do have the mythic ring boost +1, slotted up with the Golem's Heart. I did get the legendary Thrumming Spark Core, just pretty happy about that. That has much higher stacking magnetism and glaciation than the heroic version. You can see on the left I have the heroic. And I don't have it slotted up with anything. I would have liked to have taken the death block out of the heroic one and put it into the legendary one, but I didn't have another toolkit, and I really don't have that far to go to cap, and then soon it's all going to be over anyways. So I didn't really have the resources to move that, and I didn't have another augment, so it's blank for now. But that spell power does stack with most other sources of spell power. Notice that the Thrumming Spark Cord it says a 202 enhancement bonus to electric and cold spell power. Whereas your sort of standard kind of bonus, like here if you look at the magnetism, that's an equipment bonus. Okay, just like on the Pansophic Circlet, that's an equipment bonus. But the Thrumming Spark Chord is an enhancement bonus. There actually aren't very many enhancement bonuses to spell power in DDO, so this will stack with virtually everything. Also has very high lightning and ice lore. And I'm very happy to have the legendary Silver Thread Cloak. A great item for a Wisdom caster. Slotted up at Topaz of Greater Evocation. Can't emphasize enough that that does stack with other sources of evocation bonuses. It's got Wisdom 19, Insightful Evocation Focus 4. Big Fortification, that's redundant. Physical Sheltering 50, this is my source of physical sheltering, so or my big source of it, so that's awesome. And it's got the Mythic Cloak boost on there. Top it all off. I also have the Legendary Giant's Platter. This is the other part of the Wayward Warrior set, along with the armor. Also comes out of the quest I'm about to do. I did add the Alchemical Shield defense to it, as you can see, at the Stone of Change, which gives me a +1 stacking bonus to AC, so both of those are a +2 together. Slotted up with the Sapphire of Good Luck +2. This has high magical sheltering on it. High natural armor bonus, high vitality, high protection, and mythic boost +2, just to add gravy on top of all of it. This is part of 2 different set bonuses. So the Wayward Warrior is the armor and shield, and then the Seasons of Change is, there's 3 different pieces that you can use to comprise that set. So any 2 pieces, and the other 2 are the Legendary Wild Frost and Legendary Wild Flame. So it's the cold and the fire sickle that also come out of Madness of Crowds. Very important quest for, you know, the caster Druid, because there's so much gear that comes out of here. And that's why, again, why I'm doing this quest as my level 29 video. So the Seasons of Change set, the legendary version, gives +25 artifact bonus to fire and cold spell power, and +2 artifact bonus to evocation DCs. Very nice. And here's the legendary Wild Frost, which I have made sentient. I've only got 3 filigree slots though open on it. That's really all I could do up to this point. I'm not going to get the 4th one open. You know, that requires another 6,000. You know, I've got it to 6,135. It requires 12,000 sentient XP to get that 4th one for the big bonus that I would be looking for. But this one has high glaciation. That's an equipment bonus, so stacks with the Thrumming Spark Chord. That's the highest equipment bonus for cold spell power that I have, much higher than the Pansophic Circlet. Insightful Glaciation 101, so big stacking cold spell power. Ice Lore 29, that's redundant with the Thrumming Spark Chord. Conjuration Focus 8. The fire version, the legendary Wild Flame, has Evocation Focus 8. So if you weren't going sword and board like me, and you were sort of a more traditional caster druid, you could consider carrying both the legendary Wild Frost and the legendary Wild Flame to get your set bonus from that, and that would give you a +8 to both Conjuration and Evocation. In any event, I focused more on cold, so I went with the legendary Wild Frost. Mythic boost +2. So I've got it slotted up with the Odo's Irrevocable Power filigree set. Only a 3-piece set. I've got it. This is exactly how I would want it, how I have it on Gingerspyce, and how I would want it, you know, with just 3. I got the PRR, I've got the MRR, and I've got the point of Constitution. So the individual filigrees are adding to the defensive side, but the set bonus that get from the Odo set, if I had one more piece, it would give me +2 to the DCs of all my spells. So that's the big prize out of Odo's. There's also a 5-piece set bonus, which is really, really awesome if you use Arcane Insight or Wellspring of Power, which I don't on this build, so I don't go for that. But with the 3 pieces, I do get +5 stacking MRR and +200 spell points, which is really nice. Love to go for that 4-piece. That's what I have on Gingerspyce, but just don't have the resources to get that on Northwynd, but that is definitely what I would be going for. And then on Gingerspyce, after the 4-piece Odo set, I go for a 3-piece Grandfather set, and then the 8th one I have the +2 wisdom filigree that comes from, you know, purchasing with the new endgame raid currency, which is the threads of fate that you get from doing the endgame raids. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about gear. Let's see what else. Feats. So last level 28, I took elusive target. That gives me a stacking 5% miss chance. And for my level 29 feat, let's see. Here's elusive target, +5 chance to completely ignore incoming damage. Each time you would be physically damaged, you have a +5% chance to completely ignore the damage. And then my level 29 feat was deific warding. So I had to make sure to cap out all 3 of my divine destinies. Not just get them to level 5, but fully max them out. Peg the XP bar. And you have to have all 3, Divine Crusader, Exalted Angel, and Unyielding Sentinel maxed out in order to have access to deific warding. And this gives you an all-on +10 PRR and MRR, and then when you get attacked, you get stacking +2 to PRR and MRR each time, and that stacks up to 10 times. So there's another 20 PRR and MRR when you start taking a bunch of hits, and those stacks are removed every 3 seconds. And that does stack up very quickly. So that's a nice little bonus to add to the defenses of the build. Alright, let's do the quest. I am going to attempt this for the first time on 3 skulls. I knew I would want this gear, so I started farming this at really low epic levels. I think maybe as early as 21 or 22, and I just started out doing it on legendary normal, but that even at, you know, level 21 or 22 or whatever it was, that was too easy. So like right away I bumped it up to legendary hard, and then by I think maybe level 26 or so, I was starting to solo it on legendary elite, and no problem. And then I think either at level 27 or 28, I started soloing it on R1, and no problem. And I also soloed it on R2 fairly recently, and so that was no big deal. So now I'm trying it. This is the first attempt for me for trying to solo it on R3 on Northwynd, so we'll see how it goes. Spent a lot of time farming this one, and gotten a lot of XP along the way farming it. I'm going to do the Lawbringer there. And the Final Guardian there. And we want to do this optional because those elementals that appear at those altars are going to fight for us in the end fight if we do the altars. If we didn't do the altars, they would fight against us, so that could make a very significant difference in the end fight. And that's one of the things I love about this quest, is that the optionals affect the outcome of the quest. That is really neat. It's not just, you know, here's a little bit of XP. And this optional too, we're going to take the Valkyr side, and that's going to start a fight between them. And we're going to jump back here and let them get initial aggro, right? I don't want initial aggro. Let them fight it out, right? And this is another optional here that will affect the outcome, that will affect the end fight. If we didn't kill these guys here, they would appear in the end fight, and then we have to fight them on top of everything else. Yes, thank you for that examination window, right in the middle of everything, right? This quest does tend to be a little bit easier than others. So in me soloing this in R3, I want to make sure that it doesn't look like I'm trying to characterize like, oh, I can solo legendary R3s. Because generally speaking, I don't feel like I can on this tune. But this particular one, I felt like I could give it a serious go. And that wouldn't be too bad, but we'll see. I haven't finished it yet. But I do know that I've soloed it on R2. In any event, like I said, I want to be very real about the performance of Northwynd. I never want to overstate what I'm doing. You don't know how to open that big gate either, do you? Nope. Okay, that took a lot of my mana, so this quest is basically just 3 fights. And I know I've got 2 shrines. Another thing making this a little easier on me. So I'm going to go ahead and use the shrine at the start before there's any potential aggressive mobs down here that would interfere with my usage of the shrine. And I did this on Heroic as my level 14 video. And I've actually learned something about this quest since then, because I farmed it out a bunch more. Also thanks to Nimbin. When I did this in Heroic for episode 14, I was saying that I did not know the conditions that sometimes made the mobs across the road from Braun Pitts' camp aggressive. I couldn't figure out like why sometimes they were aggressive and sometimes they weren't. Well, what determines that is the location of Braun Pitts. If Braun Pitts is by the river, then these mobs will be aggressive. If he's not, then they won't. I don't know why that is, but it is what it is, right? And that's the way it works. Oops. Well, I guess I can go over here first. We'll get the other shrine on the way back. There's the spear. That's one of the soup ingredients. Don't bother with that one, because you're going to have to fight a Scarrow. A red name Scarrow. And we're going to do it the way we're going to do it because it involves less fighting. Coming up here. These mobs will go non-aggressive as soon as they choose the bloody spear. And now these water elementals fight for me. And these mobs over here, the Valkyrie, they look like they're aggressive. Until you get close to them, they'll go non-aggressive. See? And the reason why is because we sided with the Valkyrie in that fight at the end of the road. If we didn't do that, all these mobs would be aggressive. There's collectible number 1. So we're going to go for the... There's collectible number 2. We're going to go for the stew ingredient, the Driftwood Log. There are 3 different stew ingredients, and the only reason to get all 3 is just extra XP, so I never even bother, right? It's not Reaper XP. I mean, come on. You only need 1 stew ingredient, and it's the Driftwood Log, the Bloody Spear, and the Scorpion Stinger. Well, the other 2 involve fighting. The Driftwood Log doesn't. And you get 6 collectibles when you come over this way. So, Driftwood Log, no fighting, plus 6 collectibles? Yeah, I'll choose that one. See, there's 2 more collectibles right there. And that Driftwood Log can be anywhere along here on the riverbed. It can be along this path. It could be hiding behind the weeds there. It can be up here at the top. It can be like over this way, like over here by that rock. And it can be over this way, like up there. at the edge of the cliff. And it can be where that moss was where we first jumped down into the gorge. So get that last mushroom there. Now we're going to come way around. If I had detour, I would just detour back to the start at this point. But if I had detour, I would have made sure to get that other altar first. I don't have detour, so I'm going to go way around, avoiding these aggressive mobs there. And those are different mobs than the one I pointed out at the altar. Those mobs will always be there and always be aggressive. We're going to go way around to avoid them. These mobs are non-aggressive because we sided with the Valkyr. We're going to go way around to avoid extra fighting. Now we're going to come up here and do the final altar. And there's a collectible on the way. There's going to be some wood woads stomping after us, but they will go non-aggressive as soon as I choose the correct deity at the altar. Just like with the water elementals. Come here, jungle leaves. How can you remember this is the jungle leaves altar? Because look, jungle leaves. See the connection? Alright, so we're going to have a big fight here, and if this fight ever gets out of hand, I want to show you that the wood woads are, well, they're going to come down here. They're usually hanging out like right here, and you can drag the mobs back to the wood woads. And there's also some Valkyr drow. Remember, the Valkyr like us now, and you can drag those mobs, the aggressive mobs, over to the Valkyr. But I haven't found Brawn Pits yet, which he is over here. Since he wasn't by the river and he wasn't up there by the jungle leaves, that means he's down here by the aqueduct. See, there's the aqueduct up there. Okay. There's actually 2 more collectibles that we can get. The scorpion, the mother scorpion that you can get the stinger from, hangs out over here. I want to make sure not to aggro her. I don't really want to fight her. But I don't see her, so I'm going to go ahead and get these collectibles. Since we had to come over here for Brawn Pits anyways, I'm going to grab them. Because, you know, collectibles are the most valuable thing in the game right now, right? So now that we've talked to Brawn Pits, those mobs will be at his camp. These mobs here. You call my spell power boost. Those wood woads will be back there now. And I think I'm going to demonstrate that for you. About, you know, drawing the mobs back there, just so that you can see, like, if you ever, things ever get out of hand for you here, like they're about to for me now, you can just start dragging them back. And, you know, this is, you're going to have another shrine before the end fight, so you can go crazy here. See, those mobs over there in front of the altar are not aggressive because Brawn Pits was not at the river. So let's go ahead and drag some of these mobs back here. There's going to be some Valkyr. Did I get turned around? Okay, there's going to be some Valkyrie up here somewhere. Maybe those were those ones back there. The wood woads should be up here. Yeah, here they are. I think those Valkyrie got pulled away by some of the other stuff that was over there when I went to find Brawn Pits. So you can see the wood woads engage these guys. So again, if you ever get into a pinch, you can always bring them back here, and maybe the wood woads will pull them off you. You don't want to drag this stuff around too much, though, because you do have to kill this stuff to advance the quest. And if you start dragging it all over the map and you lose track of it, you know, it can be very easy to, you know, lose track of one scorpion, and then, you know, the quest doesn't want to advance because there's one scorpion, you know, hiding somewhere. Alright, Brawn Pits, what's the plan? Another thing I realized about this quest is, like, I'm pretty sure, like, you know, there's this is the madness chain, or the Disciples of Rage chain. There's like this rage curse going on, right? That's driving you mad. Well, I think, like, in this quest, like, you are mad, right? Because I always, and some of the things that clued me in was, like, I wondered, like, why the heck am I throwing, like, a log and a spear and a scorpion stinger and a stew? I mean, that doesn't really make much sense. Well, I think it's because, like, you're mad, right? Because you're like, hey, I know what we need. More protein. Let's stick the whole freaking log in there with some spiders, right? But see, look at what he says. Maybe you should lie down and let me salvage this. Because he knows you're nuts. So he's like, just go to sleep. I will take care of this. You're just effing it up, right? So we'll take a nap now. And here's another part of the dialogue that I never noticed until recently. You know, I'm guilty of just clicking through dialogue really quick, right? There's so much of the dialogue I haven't read in this game. But if you say, where's the stew? I'm starving. I let the drow have it. The stew, they died. That's great. Our plans changed, I take it. You're getting worse. Stay here. See? He knows you're going crazy. So he's just like, I'll take care of it. You just stay here and don't get into trouble. Of course, he doesn't know that the others are going to come attack you. Alright, we'll see if I have enough mana resources to make this happen. I don't know. Go ahead and do the blue fire shield because they're going to throw all kinds of fire spells at me. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. Before I talk to him, set up the whole personal hurricane, right? So it's in place when that stuff spawns. And now, see all these elementals? They're fighting for us. So that, and that's from doing all 4 of the altars, praying at the correct deity. So a very worthwhile optional to do. Makes it a lot easier to do this end fight. And then once Suzar, or whatever his name is, the boss, once he gets damaged, just by maybe 25% or so, he would call in his slaves, which are the guys at the end of the road, those Sulatars that we fought earlier when we took the Valcour side. So because we killed them earlier, they don't appear here. You know, again, that would make the end fight a lot tougher if I had to deal with that red name caster and all that crap, right? I don't want to deal with that. At least not while I'm dealing with this red name boss. Come on. See, he says, Belrain, I don't know what he just said. Belrain, I invoke your pact. Come to my aid. Curse that slave. Where is he? Yeah, we already killed him. I need to keep that open. Do not want to overwrite our own creeping colds. It's very bad because it's a backloaded spell, which means the biggest damage happens at the end, and if we overwrite our own creeping colds before they expire, we overwrite the biggest damage. I hit the wrong mom target. So really no problem standing up to this stuff. Looks like I got plenty of mana to finish the job. Maybe we could have even done it on R4. That would be crazy. Well, I think that'd be pretty good, actually, on the second lifer. I actually can solo this on R6 on Ginger. I haven't tried higher than R6, but it wasn't too bad. Probably should try an R7 soon. Yay, we did it. That wasn't too bad at all. My only solo epic or legendary R3 video of the series. There it is. Well, thanks for watching. As always, if you have any questions about my videos, you can respond on YouTube. You can also visit me over on Twitch at Twitch channel Gingerspyce. Giant's Platter. That's also a mythic too. And if you have any questions about my build, you can respond to my build post in the Druid forum.